Think of all the people who will discover your business this year. Want to guess how many of them will ever pay you a single dollar? Look, I used to run a marketing agency, and when clients asked us, hey, is our marketing working? Our honest answer was probably. I hated that answer so much that I built an analytics company. And after 10 years of seeing the real revenue data behind hundreds of courses, coaching, and agency businesses, here's what that data shows. Every email list on earth is made up of the same 5 types of leads. Only 2 of them are worth your time. The rest are quietly eating your ad budget, your support hours, and honestly, your sanity. So consider this a field guide. 5 types of leads, how to spot each one, what they do to your numbers, and which ones to build your entire business around. But before we get into the 5, I have to warn you about type 0. And type 0 isn't a person. According to Imperva, 51% of all web traffic is bots. 51%. That means half of the visitors in your analytics were never going to buy anything because they don't have a credit card. They don't even have hands, right? And it's not just traffic. Junk leads, spam signups, fake emails, those weird hotmails that download your B2B white paper at 3 a.m. All of these flow straight into your lead counts and quietly poison every top of the funnel number you have. This is the first rule of the field guide. Your traffic and lead numbers are inflated before a single human ever shows up, which is exactly why everything in this video keeps coming back to one question, not how many leads, but which leads turn into revenue. The freebie collector. You know the one. Downloads every PDF, registers for every webinar, attends none of them, doesn't watch the replay either. Freebie collectors are not lying to you. They generally want all of it. They're driven by curiosity and FOMO. They just never, ever buy. And here's what the freebie collector looks like in your data. Week 1, amazing. A flood of traffic, opt-ins, downloads. Your lead magnet dashboard lights up like a slot machine. Week 2 or 3, nothing. Opens fall off a cliff, unsubscribes tick up. What's really uncomfortable here is that freebie collectors are the leads that marketers chase the hardest. Because if you're measuring success by visits, clicks, and downloads, aka the top of funnel numbers, freebie collectors make you look like a freaking genius. 10,000 opt-ins, but 10,000 opt-ins who never buy is not a marketing win. It's a very organized waste of time. So what's your move here? Don't judge a lead source the day it performs. Judge it 60 to 90 days later by revenue. Pull up your top opt-in sources, then check what each one has actually produced in sales. The source with half the leads and triple the buyers, that's your real winner. The tire kicker has 1,001 questions. They love the idea of your product. They email support. They book the demo. They ask if it's right for them 4 separate times. And when they finally make an offer, it's too expensive. It's not the right time every single time. And a quick way to tell these first 2 types apart, the freebie collector ghosts you. The tire kicker won't stop talking to you. In your data, tire kickers can hang around your list for months, years even. Some of them join, cancel within days, come back 6 months later, join again, cancel again. All of this on repeat. As a group, tire kickers show up as elevated demo requests, elevated support tickets, and elevated churn in the first 30 days. They adore the free trials, and then they vanish the moment the trial asks for a card. The real cost of tire kickers isn't really the sale you didn't make. It's that tire kickers consume the support hours and the attention that should have gone to leads who were actually going to buy. Worse, their endless, is this right for me questions tempts you into redesigning your offer around people who are never going to be your customer. You start to think if you add one more bell or whistle that all these leads on the fence will finally join. Sorry, but they won't. We've gone down that road so many times. So what's your move here? Look at your trial or demo signups by source and check the churn inside the first 30 days. A source that produces lots of interest and fast cancellations, that isn't a nurture problem. It's a tire kicker pipeline. Stop feeding it. The one night stand shows up exactly once, usually for your cheapest product, almost always during a discount. The one night stand loves a good deal. What they don't love is you. They were never committed to the solution or your brand. They were committed to 40% off. The sale goes through, the confirmation email ends, and then silence forever. In your data, one night stands show up as a spike in sales, followed by a spike in cancels and refunds. One night stands don't stick around. They bolt and go hunting for the next shiny deal. To find your one night stands, look at churn inside your trial or guarantee window. What percentage of new customers doesn't make it past that period? That's your one night stand rate. Can you save some of them? Sure, a few. Better onboarding can genuinely convert a slice of one-night stands into real customers, and that's worth doing. But you'll never convert all of them. Some people were only ever here for the discount, and no welcome sequence on earth changes that. The danger isn't that one-night stands exist, it's that a big discount promotion full of them looks like your best month ever right up until the refund's clear. Revenue that doesn't stick around isn't revenue, it's a loan, and it's a huge distraction. So what's your move here? Next time you run a discount, track that cohort separately for 90 days. Compare their refund rate and repeat purchase rate, especially against those full price buyers. Then decide if that promotion actually made any sense. Quick pause. Because you've probably noticed every single one of these comes down to the same question, not how many leads did I get, but where does the revenue actually come from? That is literally the question SegMetrics was built to answer. It connects your ads, your email platforms, and your payment processes so you can see that actual lifetime value for every channel, every campaign, every email, every opt-in, not just the clicks. So if you want to run any of the checks in this video without duct taping spreadsheets together, there's a free trial link right below. Okay, 2 types left. These are the good ones. The bread and butter customer is the one nobody makes YouTube videos about. They join, they pay, they stick around for a decent stretch, then eventually they move on. No drama, no 1,000 questions, no heroic lifetime value, just a good customer. But here's the thing, bread and butter customers are the silent majority of most businesses. They don't bounce in week 1 like one-night stands, they don't spend gobs of money like the next type I'll talk about, and they sit right around your average, which is exactly why they're so easy to overlook. Nobody studies the average. The average isn't exciting, but the average is also the foundation of every smart decision you'll ever make, because your typical customer's lifetime value, what a normal, unremarkable bread and butter customer is actually worth over their entire relationship with you, is the number that tells you what you can afford to spend to acquire the next one. Get that number wrong, and every ad budget, every promotion, every can I afford a media buyer decision is kind of built on sand. So your move here? Know your real average customer lifetime value, not your best customer, not last month's revenue divided by vibes, the honest, boring average, including refunds. The one number that makes every other marketing decision easier. And finally, the whale. Whales are your handful of high lifetime value customers, the ones that buy, stay, upgrade, take the upsell, join the next program, and then refer their friends. A small pot of whales can make up the majority of your revenue. Not a big chunk, the majority. But here's what makes whales tricky though. You can't usually spot them on the way in. They don't announce themselves. Often they don't ask a single pre-sale question like the tire kickers. The whale just quietly buys, then buys again. They only become visible in your data over time as their lifetime value climbs while everyone else's kind of flatlines. Which means, and this is crazy, the most valuable question in your entire marketing operation is this one. Where did my whales come from? Let me tell you about a client of ours. He came in wanting to optimize his ad spend. He was putting $15,000 a month into ads. So he connected his tracking. We looked at where his customers were actually coming from, and 90% of them came from referral partners, sites he had relationships. Almost nobody was buying from the ads. So he turned off $15,000 a month of advertising. Honestly, bad news for us. He didn't need the ad analytics, and that was the main reason he was using us. But it was great news for him. $180,000 a year back in his pocket because he finally saw which small, unglamorous channel was bringing in all his whales and most of his revenue. And that's the thing about whales. They aren't random. When you trace your top customers backwards, which channel, which campaign, which lead magnet, which email sequence that first brought them in, patterns start to show up. Maybe your whales overwhelmingly came from one podcast appearance, one webinar, one referral partner you've been taking for granted. This happens constantly. The channel with the worst top of funnel numbers quietly produces the best customers. So your move here, pull the top 5% of your customers by lifetime revenue and trace each one back to its source, or look at its custom field or something about them, anything of that demographic data that you're saving. I guarantee you'll find trends. Then do 2 things. Double down on what's bringing in the whales and actually quit the big flashy channels producing freebie collectors. With SegMetrics, you can even feed your whale data back into Facebook and Google so their targeting goes looking for more people like your best customers instead of the people who are just your cheapest clicks. So scale what brings in whales, kill what brings in window shoppers. That's the whole strategy. One more, a bonus type, because I'd be lying if I left them out. The off-menu customer. The buyer who doesn't match who you serve at all. Wrong industry, wrong background, wrong use case. And somehow they're here and they're happy. Every business has a few. Enjoy them, genuinely. But watch the temptation to bend your whole brand to go find more of them. Don't do that. Don't do that. Chasing people outside of your ICP dilutes your message for everyone else. Treat off-menu customers as what they are. Happy little windfalls. So that's the field guide. Freebie collectors and tire kickers will flatter your dashboards and drain your time. One-night stands will spike your sales and then refund them. Your business actually runs on bread and butter customers and a small pot of whales. And the only way to tell these 5 apart is to stop grading your marketing on clicks and start grading it on actual lifetime value. Which raises the obvious question, what is lifetime value exactly? How do you calculate yours? And how often should you even check it? I made a whole video answering exactly that. It's the metric this entire field guide has secretly been about. Growing your business means growing your LTV. So you better know that number front and back. You can check out the video for more, and I'll see you there.